Okay, a long time ago, when I was in a very young grade, I was introduced to this program called GameMaker. And so, rather than continue to struggle with Unity like we have been, I thought maybe we'd try using GameMaker for a little bit to do some game design stuff. I have an old textbook called The GameMaker's Apprentice, and we're going to work through the lessons in it together, make some little games. We're going to make a game right away from chapter 1, work our way through with them. I think you might find this more interesting, more intuitive, easier to understand than what we have been doing. So, you open GameMaker Studio. I will have walked you through already how to get to this. We're going to make a blank game, and it's going to be chapter 2, and then whatever your last name is. So we know it's yours. I'm going to click Let's Go. And it opens up our workspace. This is where we're going to make everything to make our game happen. And over here we have the inspector. Over here we have the assets. I personally prefer my assets on the left and my inspector on the right. Don't know why. You can do it however you want to do it. That's just my personal preference for where things should be. First game is a little game with a couple of dragons, one shooting fireballs, one spitting demons at you. If you get hit by a demon, the game's over. Not extremely exciting, but it gets you the idea of how the program works and what we're going to do with the program. But first off, in the sidebar here, under Room, I'm going to right click and we're going to pick Create, the top one. There's a whole bunch of different things in Create, and we're just going to start by getting all the images, the sprites. I'm going to create a sprite, and we're going to call it Dragon S. S for sprite. Okay. We're here, we've created our dragon sprite, and we are going to import. And you can see these files. So you will have, this PC in your, this will be different for you. It will be your Tech Ed Programs folder in GameMaker Apprentice Chapter 2. Here are all of the sprites we're going to use. And right now we're looking for the dragon. So we're going to open the dragon. And it gives us the image. You can see it has this blue background. We need to get rid of that blue background. So we are going to edit the image. See over here, edit image. And this magic button right here is the color removal tool. So we're just going to click it, and click that color. Background's gone. We need to do that for each frame. And now it has a nice transparent background to our sprite. Just loops. Let's see what it looks like. The little wings flap. Not that exciting, but it's better than just a static image. I'm going to close that. Here's our sprite for the dragon. And we're going to do this for each of the sprites in the folder. Create sprite. Boss sprite. Import. Boss. Add image. Remove this background. Close that. Alright. Have our 5 sprites. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to start by making the 2 most important characters in our game, which are the dragon and the boss, right? So we're going to create an object. Object is what we actually interact with in the game, right? A sprite is just a picture, whereas the object is the actual thing that'll be in the game. And we're going to start with the object being the dragon, and we're going to call this one just dragon. It doesn't need the S because it's just the actual dragon. We're going to take the dragon, image, drag it here, and now it's connected. We have our dragon. We're going to do the same thing for the boss. Create object boss. And we're going to give it the boss sprite there. So we've created our two objects. You'll also notice that there's this room that came with it immediately. Double click on the room and it opens this big old grid. Zoom out a little bit. This is the game window. This is everything that's going to be in the game. And I want the boss to be over here somewhere. And I want our dragon to be over there somewhere. Here's our game. Turn the grid off if you want to see it nice and clean. If you hit this play symbol, it will load and be like, here it is, here's our game. It's not very exciting at the moment, but you know, we have a dragon. We have our boss enemy over here, and they are facing off. We need them to do something though. I'm going to go back to the workspace here. Everything in GameMaker operates under events. In the event that I am created, I'm going to do something. In the event that I'm destroyed, what's going to happen? Right? We're going to start with the creating event. We make the dragon. Oh, we're always going to use GML visual, at least to start. Don't ask again for this project. Okay, GML visual. My boss is created, and the first thing it's going to do is it's just going to move up the screen. All right. So I got all kinds of things I can do here. Somewhere there's movement. Set a fixed direction. And I'm going to fix my direction to moving up. My dragon, not my dragon, my boss moves up the screen. And he's going to move up the screen at a certain speed. And that speed is going to be 8. So if we go here, here's our set speed icon. Drag it underneath. And we're going to set the speed to 8. Now we play our game, see what we've done. It just moves up off the screen, but it's gone. That's not very exciting. If he gets to the top, he needs to come back down. If he gets to the bottom, he needs to come back up. We want him to stay on the screen. Just going to bounce back and forth, up and down on the screen. So we're going to add another event. And this one is going to be in the other category, intersect boundary. That means if I hit the edge of the screen. And I'm going to go back into my movements. There's reverse directions, right? If it's moving up, I want it to reverse direction and move down. And so that's vertical. The vertical change switches up, switches down. Let's see. Play. Moves up, moves down. Back and forth, back and forth. Now, that's all well and good, but my dragon doesn't move. I'm going to add an event, and the dragon is going to move when I, the player, want it to move, not just when the game wants it to move, right? So that's going to matter on a key press. And I want to move up, I'm going to push the up key. So in my movement, which because I've recently used movement, it's here. I can just grab it over here, move up. And the dragon is going to move at a speed of 16. Dragon's fast. Because I'm me, I'm going to duplicate the up key event for when the letter W is pressed to also move up. Okay. I'm also going to duplicate the event. Oh, by the way, I got that by right-clicking on key down and then going down to duplicate. When the key is the down arrow key, but I want to move down instead of up. And again, duplicating that for the letter S. So now, when I run my game, I can push the up arrow, down arrow. I can push the W and the ooh, but look at that. See how it just moved forever? Right? We want it to stop moving. Oh, I forgot to switch S to that. We want it to stop moving if no key is being pressed. So I'm going to add event. Key pressed. And then there's a no key down here. And I'm going to just drag my movement in. And if I don't click anything, you'll notice over here it says stop movement. So now, when no keys are being pressed, ooh, hang on, it's being choppy. Alright, so I figured out what the bug was. See how these say key down, whereas this says no key pressed? I want to change these events. Change event. I want it to be, this is a key down, key down, key down, key down, right? Instead of key press, I want to change this one to also key down, no key. I just hit the wrong one there. Now when I play, it moves, but when I'm not pushing anything, it stops. That way we have a little bit more control over what's going on. Alright. You have a drag and move that can move up and down. You have a demon that moves up and down on its own, a boss. So, what good is a dragon if it doesn't spit fireballs, right? So we need another object. Create object, and this object is going to be the fireball. Give me a fireball. Nope, why did I give the dragon? Give me the fireball. And when we create the fireball, all it needs to do is just move to the right. So move to the right, move to the right with a speed of 32. Fireballs are fast. Now, every time we push the spacebar, it's gonna make a fireball. Right? If we just let the game create a fireball every single time we push the spacebar and never delete the fireballs, your computer might run out of memory. That's a lot of fireballs potentially. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an event in this other category, outside room. And when it's outside the room, it's just gonna delete itself. So yeah, for this, now we have the fireball. It deletes itself. What we need to do is make the fireball spawn. And the fireball spawns on the dragon. So where's my dragon? Here it is. You can like scroll, move around. You can middle click and drag to move around. You can't really zoom in and out as far as I've found. Oh, you can with control. Okay, didn't know. If you want to zoom in and out, you can always hold control, zoom in and out with the scroll wheel. So we don't want a fireball to spawn all the time. So we're just going to go to add event. And we're going to add event when the key is pressed. This is the mistake I made before. I only want it to happen when I push the spacebar, not while I'm holding it down. So the key pressed is the spacebar. We're going to create an instance of an object, this little light bulb, and we are going to create the fireball. And so it looks like the fireball is coming from his mouth. We're going to make it create at, ooh, just 100, not 4,100, by 10. And we're going to click relative. This means relative to the object that I'm looking at. If I didn't check those, it would put them up in the corner of the screen. I want them to be centered on the character itself. If we push the spacebar, the fireball is created. Let's see if that worked. We go here. We push the spacebar, fireball comes flying across the screen. Pew, pew. Fireballs. Alright. Now, so far, it's cool and all. There's not much of a game. So, Hit a dragon with fireballs. We got our boss man who moves up and down. We need something to make the game end, potentially. Right? So, that's what the demon is. So we're going to make an object. Where did it go? Object. Demon. Now. Demon. Add event. Create. Demons are going to be slightly different from anything else we've done so far. In our movement category, there's this set direction random. And what that means is we can pick multiple directions that we want to come from. So it's coming out of our boss, and it's going to come out of the boss at a random direction, whether it be straight on, a little bit up, or a little bit down. We don't know what it's going to be. And it's going to move at a speed 12. So it's a little bit faster. Now, we're going to load our boss back up. That's a little bit tricky. They've changed how this works. In the original textbook, this is a lot easier than it is now. But that's okay. In our create section, what we're going to do is we're going to use this thing called an alarm. And if you type in this search, we can just find them easily. We don't have to go scrolling everywhere. I'm going to set an alarm countdown. And we're going to use alarm number 0. Doesn't particularly matter. And we're going to use an iRandom, which is going to give me a random number. And then we're going to say 30. So we need a random number between 1 and 30. And when that happens, actually this should be the last thing. When this happens, it's going to trigger an alarm. Now that's an event. So we're going to go back to events. An alarm, this was alarm 0, alarm 0. When alarm 0 goes off, it's going to create an instance of our demon at 0, 0 relative to ourselves. And then we're going to set a new alarm countdown for the same alarm. iRandom 30. So it's just going to create them at random numbers, random intervals. So demons just appear randomly. Shoot fireballs. Right now they don't do anything. But you'll notice that sometimes there's a while before it creates another one, right? Oh, this does seem to be taking a lot longer than I expected right now, but did we tell the demons to delete themselves when they left the scene? No, we didn't. We should do that. Add an event. Other. Outside room. Destroy instance. Did you also notice that when it hit the top or the bottom, it just went out? We didn't say it. So we gotta do that. Same as we did with the boss man. Intersect the boundary. We need you to move. Movement, movement, movement. Reverse direction vertically. Now they bounce off the top or the bottom. But two things should happen. If you shoot a fireball and it hits one of those guys, you die. So we're going to add an event, a collision with the fireball. If our demon is collided with the fireball, then, well, we need to destroy this guy. We also need to destroy, and we're going to look at this little drop down, the other guy. So, if we collide with the fireball, we need to destroy ourselves and the fireball that hit us. Let's see if that works. Boop, 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 boop. See that? The demon vanishes, the fireball vanishes. Right? In the event that we collide with the dragon, we need to restart the game. The game is over. Now, what we have right now, flies around, shoot stuff. If it hits, the game gets reset. One more thing we can do is we can add another sprite. Where's sprites? Down here. And I'm going to call this one background sprite. Because we do have a nice background image like this. And our background of the room, we can double click on it here to show us the room. And then on the inspector size of the background, we can just drag our background sprite to it. Oop, I missed. To it. But then say stretch. Because we don't want to tile it. That looks really funny. We just want to stretch it, fill the whole scene. Now we've got our dragons in a little cave. Having a battle. Finally, the babies. Every now and then, our boss is going to spawn a baby. So we need a baby. Create object baby. Baby is similar to the demons, where you create them and they just move to the left at a speed of 12. But they only move to the left. They don't move randomly. It's to the left. If they leave the scene, they get destroyed. If they run into a fireball, they get destroyed. And the fireball gets destroyed. However, if they collide with the dragon, they get destroyed. It's not that the game is over. If you can figure out how to do the scoring, which I haven't figured out how to show a high score or to freeze the game at the end. If I figure that out, I will amend this video. I'm supposed to get a bunch of points for this, for collecting the babies, but it's fine. It just creates an extra added challenge. This, in a similar fashion, is going to come from, not from the demon, from the boss, which is going to be alarm number 1. Alarm, and we are going to create the baby here relative to ourselves, irandom, except this is going to be 100. It's more random. In the creation of our boss, we need another alarm countdown for alarm 1. 100 random countdown. Boss can move up and down. At a speed of 8. At some time, pick a number randomly less than 30. We spawn in a demon. Pick another number randomly less than 100. We spawn in the baby. If we hit the edges, we bounce up and down. So here we are. Pew, 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 pew. Ooh. Oh man, baby. That's the game. There are audio tracks to add as well. So when we create, there's 3 audio tracks. So we're going to create sound. And this is, what do they call them? Music. And we're going to call this A for audio. And then we're going to just create all the sounds real quick. The sound, baby, audio, and create sound, demon, audio. And when a demon object is created, we want it to play that sound. So play audio, demon. When the baby's created, we wanted to play the audio. Oop. The baby audio. When the boss is created, we wanted to play the audio. That is the music, the background music, and we're going to loop it. So there's always background music when we're playing our game. Hear the background music. You hear the of the baby. You can hear the weird demon sounds when they spawn. Oh, oh, that was bad. And that's it. Made a basic game, nice and simple. If you want to figure out adding score to the game, you want to figure out adding lives to the game, you want to figure out a health bar for the boss, go ahead, add that on yourself. Good luck.